Fuck you.
God damn, Jim.
Jim, fuck you.
I don't think it deserves the puppies, Chris.
Hold on. I have a list.
Oh, I have lots to say.
No.
So sorry.
Take
Here's the
it,
thing.
Chris.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
this is one of those really fucking great movies I never want to see again. Ever.
Never.
I was thinking a lot about a movie maybe some of you guys saw called Dirty Pretty Things, directed by Stephen Frears, starring Audrey Tautou and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
That's kind of more the commercial version of this.
That is the commercial version of this movie. This movie is uncompromisingly brutal, but the reality is people like that girl are murdered all the fucking time, and this movie knows it and does not pull its punches. I found the acting sublime. I found the relationship between the sister and the brother heartwarming and then heartbreaking.
But quotation
and then you get all the way like, and they murdered her, the end, because that's how life is.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Again, my list.
I have no faults with this movie other than it.
I want to go.
4 days later.
You want to go next?
I want to go point by point with Chris on this one.
I will be. I'm still thinking about it 3 or 4 days later. I will probably end up on my best of 2020 of the show. But I wish I could kind of get it out of my brain.
No, I'm jumping in with my list right now because this is a list of the saddest films I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah.
La Strada had a couple light moments and some jokes in it, right? And also great photography. Los Olvidados. You ever see that one? Julie Buñuel?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the end of the kids get thrown down to a dump at the end of the film, but they'll get great photography and some nice heart-rending scenes. Angela's Ashes had a couple jokes. Okay.
Dad's drunk again.
Schindler's List.
Well, that ends sort of on a high note.
It ends on a high note.
Things considered.
Get there. And finally, the film How's That Balthazar? You ever see that one about the donkey?
Yeah, it's Robert
I
Bresson.
almost picked that one.
That's a great movie.
Films I've ever seen, but at least the donkey was cute. But this film is one of the grimmest films I've ever seen. There's no laughter, there's no smiling. There's one bit where the kid shows a crayon drawing of somebody, but this film is like her eyebrows are furrowed up in worry from the first moment to the last moment, and nothing good happens to either of these characters the entire movie. Nothing good. Really. It is an un-merry-go-round, an unending un-merry-go-round at this thing, and it ends the way you think it would end.
Yeah,
so it was
okay.
Actually, I was dumb enough to think that maybe something good was going to happen by the end.
Well, I was holding out hope.
And then the movie goes where it probably
went where it went.
Okay, John, do you want to go?
It sounds like you're fired up here, Jared. So have at it.
Well, I'll wait till the end. I'll go before Jim.
Statement, yeah.
Good, really good filmmaking. Absolutely absorbing film, from start to finish. Nothing flashy. I'd never seen the Dardennes brothers. I'd never seen anything by them, and I mean, this sort of is in the it's heir to Bicycle Thief or something like that. Just social realism. It
is.
If you didn't know that it was, I mean, it's obviously not a documentary, but it's like, if you took any random frame from this movie, you would assume that it was a documentary. And I love that about it. It's a knockout. It's a really good film. I watched about half of it with Sheila, and she just had this overwhelming feeling of dread, so we had to turn it off. And I said, "That's fine. I'll watch the second half on my lunch break tomorrow." Which I did. So fuck you twice, Jim, because I had to cry watching it, and then I had to describe it to Sheila, and then I cried again.
3 times.
I think that's the end of my notes, but goddamn, good movie.
I got no notes. I mean, I really don't. I mean, it's just fuck.
It's something that happened to me.
Yeah.
You didn't watch a movie. Something happened.
Exactly. That's what it felt like.
That's a well said. Okay,
Jared, take it.
I kind of feel like maybe you guys are all like living under a rock, because I have seen this movie before and I've seen it done better. And
okay,
I've actually, this is my 5th Dardennes movie. I like I like I like two of them. And this is all they do. A while ago when we watched an Andrea Arnold movie called Fish Tank.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think Andrea Arnold belongs in the same conversation as the Dardennes, by the way.
Yeah,
You know what?
I think
wrong.
that
You're not wrong.
I think that she does it better. I also think Ken Loach does it better. And I think that when I think Tad likes buzzwords, so he called Fish Tank poverty porn. And that came up to my mind when I was watching this. And I think the Dardennes are now bored with themselves and bored with their own storytelling, and this is them on their bare minimum. This is
like, European white.
This is the end of the curve.
This is like this is just the numbers now. We're just gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because if you watch any of their other films, they are all like this. Different subjects, but they are obsessed with the proletariat. They are obsessed with the disenfranchised. They are obsessed with, which is all fine. And I don't care about poverty porn. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in buzzwords. I believe you make the movies that you want to make. I just didn't feel anything in this movie. I didn't care about anything in this movie. I thought the acting is atrocious, so I disagree with Chris. But it is this similar thing to a Robert Bresson, where it's like, let me try and get like non-actors to act and just be in situations, which sometimes that works brilliantly. But if you look at most of the Dardennes movies, those are real actors who are killing it. And I feel like maybe even if these people were just found on the street and said to say the lines, it didn't work for me. I knew where this was going because I've seen their other works, and I just like, my favorite ones by him are The Kid with a Bike and the one that Marion Cotillard did that was almost shot in real time. It's called 2 Days, 1 Night. But I just, this movie, the characters, I mean, I understand that it's like realism. It's this sort of cinema verite style. It's very, but really, like literally the lines are like, I think this movie would have been more effective if he wouldn't have written as much script, to be honest, because they literally walk up and say what they are thinking. Like they say the dumbest fucking line you ever heard in your I wish I could think of an example, but it's like they would be holding an apple and say, I have an apple. Like they would do that. And you're like, I can fucking see that you have an apple. Yeah. You don't need to write that in the fucking script. Right. It's in your hand. And I think that this is a thing that like this kind of filmmaking, you know, I think that everybody reacted to this movie the way that you guys do because they don't watch enough movies or they don't see movies like this.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I think this is low rung, Dardennes.
I think you're getting personal here.
Yeah, I was so disappointed in it. I wanted it to be better, and he's tackled the kid on a bike is literally this young kid was riding a bike half the movie, and I was like, he's already made that film too. Like, it's literally called it that. Like but there is something to be said for, I think that this touches on Ken Loach's work, Andrea Arnold's work, and to a certain extent, the Safdie brothers' work to a certain extent. And I think all those people do it better. And I just really, really didn't like this movie.
This film
I changed my mind. This movie sucks.
The fucking Safdie brothers.
Maybe.
You're comparing this to the Safdie brothers.
Sure, the style. Yeah.
There's no style in this movie.
No.
But it all takes place within like a couple of days, and it's this hard. It's people in these situations that they can't get out of. It just there's trust me, there's like through lines.
I'm really interested to hear your counterpoint, Jared, because that was very interesting. It was nothing I had considered. I disagree with the part where it's like you're telling us that it's our fault because we haven't seen enough films, because I don't think I'm a savvy enough filmmaker to ingest this and appreciate it on its own terms.
This could be up against again, all the films the sad films I mentioned, they put up against all of those, and you can measure it against all of these sad films. One thing about this film is that it has a political point of view. It has a political worldview.
Oh yeah.
This is it's not poverty porn. It's white European guilt porn. It's
immigrant porn or whatever.
It's about.
But I don't believe in. I don't want to be a derogatory. I don't like those buzz.
No, this is about how white Europeans exploit people coming into Europe. When they go to Belgium, they deal drugs. They have them. Basically, it's slavery. You know, and that's and
like I said,
Probably by another name.
Pretty
Well, this is a
Things, is a
tradition of
sanitized version of that.
This is
Yeah.
basically a tradition of kind of like a socially conscious film. There's lots of them like this, like
Yeah.
Salt of the Earth and moving forward with that. You know what I'm talking about? It's
And hence the double feature.
yes. So
Right.
this film, well, that was just that the other one's just plain clumsy, but this was it was definitely pointed. You
Well,
know,
Jared thinks this one's clumsy as well.
Well,
Yeah.
for what they've done before, I mean, if you, I guess I'm just comparing it because I can only see it through my eyes, meaning I didn't go into it blind.
you saw
like
you
some
saw
people
some,
have.
some other
I've
movies.
never seen anything else from these filmmakers, so I have nothing but the reaction I had
Same
watching.
here.
Which is everything.
And I'm sure that most people have the reaction you guys are having to this
Right.
movie.
Well, yeah, there it is.
Also, I didn't think the performances were bad. I think the opening shot, which is a long take on the girl being interviewed for that, being asked all the questions that she can't answer. I thought she did great in that scene.
By the way, that's literally the opening of fucking the
Scarface?
money one of Good Time. That's literally the opening of Good Time. So there's your Safdie brothers.
Okay.
Oh.
But it's
Haven't
also
seen-
the beginning of Scarface.
Yeah, it's also the beginning of Scarface.
but
But the Good Time does it almost identical to this. Safdie's playing the character and he starts crying. You know, he starts and then Robert breaks into the room and says, "Leave my brother alone." And yeah, it's like the same opening.
Yeah, but if you don't start going down that rabbit hole of movies that have scenes that remind you of other scenes in other movies,
this is what Tad would say, don't remind me of a better film, basically.
this movie never reminded me of, well, like I said, the only thing it reminded me of was Dirty Pretty Things, which is in retrospect extremely,
but it's extremely different style, but a similar story. So see, you're comparing storyline, I'm comparing style. I mean, I think it's both relevant.
Film on my list, basically. But
I think that's part of its appeal, is it had no style.
Now I'm gonna
sure.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I mean, even no style is a style. They have this realism, this like uber realistic, documentary.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and you guys, and I'm done. You can call me an asshole for saying this.
I'll call you an asshole now.
No, we just wait, John. It's more justified that way. What I could see that if you watch this film in a certain kind of point of view, you could probably make a libertarian argument about it. It's like, this is people coming to their country and just immediately start dealing drugs and making bad decisions and coming to a bad end. They didn't follow the lawful way of how you enter another country. Like I said, it's not popular argument, but the thing is that because maybe they had no choice, but then again, this film is all about the choices these people are making.
Yes.
That's the thing. And so there is an element of, like, you can look at this distastefully. It's like, why is this 13-year-old kid dealing drugs? You know, why end up in a situation like this? You know, why couldn't they follow the narrow path and get a proper citizen?
Because they never would have gotten into the country.
We don't know that.
The whole time she is trying to get her papers.
Yeah,
correct.
The thing is, it's an unfair argument to make, because I imagine you're getting from they're from where are they from? I think
They're from
yes,
Cameroon.
Yeah,
but here's the thing.
And
okay, but I don't think, even though that viewpoint tastes maybe sour to a lot of people, you're not entirely wrong, Scott. And even though she was trying to get her papers, and we know that,
right,
she never once said, "Listen, I lied. I don't know him, but I want to do this right. Tell me what to do to get my papers."
Right. She never said that. She's always trying to get.
And I don't know if that would have been appropriate. Maybe not. I don't fucking know.
I don't think it would have bothered anything.
Yeah.
But I guess you have a point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that part of this movie's strength is not judgmental about the decisions that people in the movie make.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Well, they're playing the cards that they were given.
You're making a good point, Chris. That's the other half of the argument. How much of this was their choice and how much wasn't their choice? I'm arguing that you could take an argument either way. You could say it's all their choice. They decide to deal drugs. They decide to be involved in that.
But this movie definitely has a point of view where it's like everyone surrounding them is, vilified and abusing them in some way, which is true. Which is true. Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're easy to exploit. These people, that's what happens. These people are they're going to be the mules. They're going to be the dealers.
Yeah.
They're going to be lock them up in a.
But I again, even in that respect, I found this movie mild. I've seen worse.
And it's interesting. You can condemn them for their actions, I suppose, or somebody would.
Can't.
But the kid shows some real moral fiber, because I remember he turns down an opportunity to rip somebody off at one point. I can't remember the specifics of the situation, but he proves himself to like sort of have a sense of right and wrong. He's fine with stealing dope from the guys that are growing dope and imprisoning his sister.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
I think that's okay.
And that was these people are not brother and sister. Just want to point that out again.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretending.
Well, they found each other and they both
They're
needed each
spiritual
other.
brother and sister.
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
I hear you all. I do
But
not, my opinion, this movie.
if I had to if I had to really nitpick too, I felt that the boy had presence and personality. The girl, I thought, was a piece of cardboard walking through the movie.
with a worried forehead, with the worried eyebrows.
And I couldn't stand her
Man, what
performance.
an
I was
end,
just
but
like,
Right, when the movie was about the boy, it was really gripping to me. Was he was on the bus going back to visit her the second time? I was like, this kid has got it going
she
on.
was so
Kid
apathetic to
snuck
like
in.
everything.
He figured out a way to hide in the car and get there the first time. And he figured out a way to get into the building,
Right.
and then he remembered how he got home, so he was able to take a bus there the second time. And then what? He's like 10. It's
Yeah.
like I could have fucking pulled
No.
that off when I was.
Oh, you can barely find a bathroom when you're 10 years old. I know. That's
I could
ridiculous.
barely find the bathroom when I was 10.
Exactly. But no, and the thing is that the ending is really grim because it's like, she didn't deserve anything that happened to her like that, because that was just
Of course not.
Oh my God. And it's like it just was again, it maybe
But she didn't have to take that job at the plant.
that's
And
not-
also
She
what
did,
fucking what fucking year is this though? Is pot? Why are we killed? That should have been like a fucking crack lab or something. Like
I'm not
pot's
sure
fucking
how that-
legal, dude.
I know. I'm not sure how
I
that
didn't. I
works.
didn't buy that. I didn't buy that.
In Paris?
The pot grow thing, maybe.
What's
I
the,
don't know.
I don't know what the le- I don't know what the legal-
That part of the storyline felt like it was like 1997, not
look that
fucking
up, see what the-
2023.
Oh, I know, but what are the marijuana laws in Belgium right now?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Someone should
Are
look it
they
up.
as liberal as California? Probably not.
Uh-huh.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Jim, who's right?
You're all wrong.
Jim, you need Jim, take your corner. Take your Mexican corner.
Picked it.
Jim's Mexican.
Odale.
Corner.
Odale, Jim Mexican
I'm
corner.
Hola, soy Jim.
I'm gonna superimpose.
Le Jaime. Le Jaime.
Jaime. Call me Don Diego, please.
Don Diego, what is your corner, senor?
Well, I succeeded in pissing a bunch of people off, so that's great. I mean, between Agnes Varda and the Dardennes brothers.
Imagine if Tad was here.
Yeah,
my
imagine.
God.
I was really hoping Tad and Jared would get into some sort of fight.
I did not like this week at all. Thank you so much, Jim.
You're welcome. And
it was-
just wait
raw-
another 6 weeks.
It wasn't vegetables, it was raw vegetables, man.
I had not even heard of these guys, and I picked it out, sort of reading about. I read a bunch of Belgian movies or whatever, and it seemed interesting, and I enjoyed it. I found it to be a good film. I did find that the death almost took me by surprise. It kept getting grimmer and grimmer, but I wasn't expecting her to just get shot off screen.
Twice.
Yeah.
It was sort of like the scene
Just
in
off screen.
another of my choices.
Yeah, she was still on. She was just behind a bush.
Coup de
It was
grace.
awful.
Where
Yes.
It was,
yes.
yes. Not bad, yes.
The officer shoots that woman in the head.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just
that
sort
was
of,
that was
it
another-
happens, even if you are expecting it, it happens so quickly and nonchalantly that I think it has impact.
Agree.
Much like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree 1,000%.
Me
Yeah.
too. This is how it would happen if it happened.
I do highly recommend. They made 2 movies in a row. I kind of brought them up
What's
earlier.
your favorite
but-
of theirs, Jared?
Well, these 2 I recommend highly. I'm just going to say 2 of them. So in 2011, they made a movie called The Kid with a Bike.
Okay.
And then in 2014, they made a movie called 2 Days, 1 Night. I highly recommend both of those. And now that you've seen this, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to impact you as much now that you've seen this.
As much fun as
but-
this one was.
Yeah.
They
2 days
are.
they're
They're not as. I'll say they're not as grim.
Thumbs.
I loved it. I mean, well,
It was.
I think it's a
Scott,
good movie. I fucking hated it.
I don't know if I'm a better person for having seen this film. I really don't. I don't.
But
I
Scott,
don't think it's
I'm
a film's
surprised to see-
job to make you a
Whoa,
better
whoa, whoa,
person.
whoa. Since when has
No.
movies' job been to make you a better
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
Sometimes their job is to just smack you in the face.
The totality
Yeah,
of artistic
this one
effort is.
smacked
I
me
didn't learn
around.
anything from this film. It was just suffering. It was an hour and a half of suffering.
Yeah, but
Oh.
you know what?
It's not a film's job to teach.
I'm gonna get
you
myself
something.
I like films that I
I'm
like
getting
suffering
myself
films sometimes, just
Well,
not
this is
this
all this
particular one.
is. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
this was suffering that Jared didn't like.
You know,
and
this
No,
is
hold on,
suffering.
hold on.
I like to suffer in other
It's
ways.
better.
You know, I could pull the wings off of freaking flies in my house. So I want to see suffering.
No,
Come on.
No, hold on. I believe
Now we're getting into something interesting.
I believe to my fucking toes that one of the things that I love about this medium is its ability to put you in the shoes of other people.
Right.
True.
I
That's
don't
what's great about
read
it.
I'm not a reader. I
Mhm.
like movies.
Right.
And this movie, like empathy for me is like one of the greatest of human emotions. And I feel that as much as you are able to experience what it might be like to be people in other walks of life, like these two, and like I think watching movies like this makes you a better person because if nothing else, it just kind of feeds the empathy pile. Like
Yeah.
you got a little bit of perspective, like maybe
No, it
I mean,
later
it's much
you're
different
gonna-
than reading a news story on how rough
Yeah.
immigrants have it.
You know, Chris, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, of course.
This might be the clip. That was actually really beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Well, this was Chris's. This is like reading a novel,
no,
a literature
I
novel
was-
for
I
Chris.
think-
Chris's impassioned speech turned us into this now.
Woo!
Sorry, man. It's like he told me how to see this thing, and you're right.
it's empathy,
Right.
man. It's all about empathy.
Yeah.
I love this show.
Oh, no, stop it. It's like I wish I had not taped the first part. It was so good. Oh, sorry.
I take it as a personal affront.
All right.
Then Scott says, "Oh, I forgot to hit record again."